All right, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, whatever it is you tune in. Hope all is going well. I'm Noah.
The one and only. The one and only. What's going on, guys?
This is normally where you would introduce yourself to, but
It's Trey, guys. But I think you'll do that. Unless you're new. We invite newcomers. So welcome along.
I'm hoping because man, it's been well's been dry over on my channel. All right,
Mm.
how's it going, Big Ant? How's it going? The A1 sauce. Everyone's
I
got
just,
that bottle of A1 sauce that is 37 years old too, so it's
I just
very
had a
fitting for
steak.
that name.
I just had a steak today, too. So nice name. I mess with the name.
Cool.
Nice
All right. Who else is here
name.
as we get started? I think as we wait for that, I got a quick little announcement. I didn't talk about this with Trey before we started the show, so this will be new to him. Um, so about my channel and about just like things that we want to do moving forward, I want to show a little bit more progress, and I want you guys to visibly see it along with me for the ride. This is gonna really kind of start like moving forward immediately, but keep this in mind for pretty much all of 2024 that I'm going to be making a change. More importantly, I think it's time I get myself a beard.
Mm. You finally
I've
join
never
me.
tried to grow one out. Like, you guys have seen me with facial hair down here before, but it was more like, oh, I'm not shaving. But no, I'm going to make an active effort to like grow this thing out. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I want you guys to see it with me. I'm going to try to take care of it so that way I don't look like homeless and stuff. But yeah, I just be on the lookout for that for everyone else that watches along as you listen.
You know how
So
long,
yeah, just a quick little announcement.
you know how long I've been waiting for you to say that, man? Because, people aren't supposed to have a beard at 15, like an actual like one that's like nearly grown in, and I kind of have that as long as it just connects, because it's almost there. It's like a couple inches from connecting. It's connected with the mustache, just not with the under part of the beard yet. So I'm waiting for it, but hopefully by the time yours is kind of like visibly grown in, mine will connect. So maybe we'll see. But welcome to the beard gang.
Yeah, I've definitely got more time because I'm more of a baby face than freaking John Cena. All right, who else is here? All
What's
right,
going on,
Eric
Eric?
Mack. As we get started for tonight's show, we want to take a look at a couple of things. First of all, one thing that we had to notice is I want to say about 2 days ago we received an article from our Discord that was like, how cheap are these tickets to this game? I think they got up now because I don't think that article was real. I think it was kind of like a Photoshop thing. But I love the idea that going to that game only costs you about 45 cents.
Plus parking.
50 cents. Like,
Plus hot plus food, so 250.
I mean,
150.
if you want to get your beers in as well.
Oh yeah. So 250, 350. But yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if it was 45 cents, I'm not gonna lie. I'm only a 3 hour drive from North Carolina. I have family in North Carolina, so I have a place to stay. I don't have to buy a hotel. And they're like 35 minutes from Charlotte, maybe 45 minutes from Charlotte. So it's not that big of a ride for me. Them tickets was 45 cents. I'll be on the way down there right now. I'm not gonna lie to
I
you.
mean, I think the actual cheap tickets is like $10
Oh
on
yeah,
the away
yeah.
section,
I think
something like
Ticketmaster
that.
had the lowest one I seen on
But
Ticketmaster was like 15.
just keep in mind, like, it's not really looking to be a very pleasant weather day. unlike what I've experienced over here locally, because it is middle of December and there ain't no way it should be freaking 70 degrees outside.
Lucky. Very lucky. The
Like,
hottest it's gotten over the last 4 weeks was 55. No, 59. My fault. 59. That's the hottest it's been.
now to be fair, I did wake up and it was like 30 something degrees in the morning when I had to drive to work today.
Oh yeah,
But
that's a regular here. It's a regular.
yeah, so just either grab yourself a poncho, grab yourself some well, you need clear bags anyway, so make sure that they're waterproof. Um and maybe eat before you go, because I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think tailgating is going to be an option unless if you want to just deal with the weather in
Soggy
its
flies.
entirety. Yeah,
Gonna be windy too, so might even get your food blown away from you.
but hey, at least you don't have to deal with the flies.
Hey, hey. See, this is why I love being a dome team because I don't have to worry about that anytime I want to go to a game. It could be pouring outside. I don't have to worry about that because we're inside with conditioning and
Oh yeah,
heating.
you get the comforts of that, and especially over there too, where it's like a freaking full course meal with a $20 bill.
Yeah, yeah. Literally. Wings, fries, pizza, and 2 drinks for 19. Gotta love our
So,
food.
oh yeah. Um. All right, we got a question here from Dave. Do you guys think the Falcons will be in a tussle with the Panthers deep into the fourth quarter? Ooh. Well, we're going to
That's
talk about that because with this cheap prices, I got to ask the question: is this considered a cheap win? By the way, how's
no.
it going, Sam? Going OG?
The only reason that I wouldn't say that this is like one of the well, I mean, we should win this game by a margin, but the reason I wouldn't discredit this win is because this team isn't really bottom of the barrel. Their record may show it. Their record shows they're like one of the worst. They're the worst team in the NFL, but how they play doesn't show that, or at least how they play for like a half at least. In total, they held the Saints offense to under 200 yards passing, which isn't that hard, to be honest. But they did hold them to under 200 yards passing. Um, their defense is still decent. It's making plays. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Jesse Horn is back. I didn't even know that because I remember the first
As
game.
far as the points for and the points against for them, they are 30th in points for and
Oh,
31st in points against.
oh.
They have allowed 341 points this season so far. Put that in
Well,
perspective, we are 12th in the NFL in points against with 269.
I love having a great defense. But yeah. And then, 262 if you want to put up, but the pick six against the Jaguars. But not going to talk about that. Well, 260 because of the safety. So 260, only 260. But
258 because there's more than one safety.
oh yeah, so 258, 258. But yeah, yeah, their defense is still pretty decent. Derek Brown has always given us problems since he was drafted. I don't know. That's just Chris Lindstrom's kryptonite. It's like we all know Chris Lindstrom is like a top 3 guard in the NFL. He's proved it really since he was drafted. Well, since he came back from the broken foot when he was drafted. But really since then, he's proved to us that he's going to be he's been one of the best guards in the league. But it seems like every time he plays Derek Brown, it's a problem. And I don't really like that. Of course, we know the
By
Marcus
the
Murray.
way, I have Derek Brown as our wallpaper right behind us.
Oh yeah, there he is. Big 95.
We always find a way to talk about things that seem very obscure, but then suddenly become very relevant. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know
DJ
why, but
Reed.
that's been the case for like a couple of weeks in a row.
Like DJ Reed and
Yeah,
AJ
who'd have
Terrell getting
thought?
hurt.
Also, AJ Terrell locking up Mike Evans.
Oh yeah, I said that. Straps.
10 minutes of our last stream was dedicated to that section, or it's like, yeah, dude, like, granted, we can talk about it 6 ways to Sunday about the result of that game, but what we had our ability to discuss was, oh, I mean, not even that, because they had the freaking fumble that nobody cared about. Anyways,
Don't remind me of
that's
that. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
but as
yeah.
far as like Derek Brown, you were saying with Chris Lindstrom.
Yeah. That's kind of been his kryptonite so far. So hopefully that gets dealt with. From what the sound of it is, from what we've heard from reporters and Arthur Smith, is that we will be getting David back tomorrow. We will be getting Drew back tomorrow. Caleb McGarry is probably not going to play because he hasn't practiced all week. Jake Matthews is supposed to.
Was listed as question. He's listed as questionable, but I thought someone said in the Discord that he was out.
Oh no, because he's practiced for.
I know that McGarry and then Contavious Street is out.
Yeah. That was confirmed Tuesday, I think, or may have been Wednesday. I know Okuda. It was Okuda, Nate, and Dave. No, David came back Tuesday. Okuda and Nate came back Wednesday. And did Mac come back this week? What day did Mac come back? Was that Thursday, or was that Wednesday as well? Because I know we had a lot of guys come back from injury this week and just practice.
Well, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that's questionable. Those are Drew Dahlman, Nate Landman, Chris Lindstrom, Mikael London, Jake Matthews, David Onyemata, like all really important people for us. And here's the thing too, right? Because we faced Carolina week 1 when both of us were pretty much at our healthiest, because Panthers have a good list of people that aren't going to be playing this game either. You know, a solid chunk of their offensive line, some key pieces on their defense like Shaq Thompson, some of their other weapons like Laviska Shenault that would generally give them a spark every now and then in the game. They don't have them for anymore. It's unfortunate what happened with Hayden Hurst and stuff. So, like, Brian Burns is limited. He's listed as questionable, and that could also give us some problems, because if Caleb McGarry struggled, I don't want to see Storm Norton struggle with him.
I mean, Caleb McGarry, other than Cam Jordan, really kind of struggles with all speed rushers. That's kind of like, every decent tackle has their kind of people who they can't really block well. Like if you put a Cameron Jordan type of defensive end on Caleb McGarry, he'll probably dominate him 9 times out of 10. Put a speed rusher like Josh Allen or Brian Burns against him, and then we have a problem. So I don't know. I didn't even know Brian Burns was even hurt. Actually, could you name all of the guys that are either
you want listed as questionable or
just general, like outdoor questionable?
Okay, so here's a list of questionable players for the Panthers. We have Jamie Robinson, their defensive back, with a finger. Deshaun Jameson, another defensive back. You got Yetur Gross-Matos with a knee. Sam Franklin, the other linebacker, with an illness. I don't know what's going on there, but Xavier Woods and Amari Barno also have an illness. I don't know if they're just catching the flu or something over there, or what? I don't know. And then Brian Burns, last one. As far as those that are out, Ian Thomas, their tight end, Justin McCray out with a calf, and then Hayden Hurst, of course. I think he's on IR, but they listed him twice.
Oh yeah, he's on IR. I don't even know if he'll ever play football again, which is kind of sad to hear.
Right.
Yeah. And then Laviska Shenault, you said was questionable out.
Oh, he's on IR.
Oh But yeah, we don't got to worry about that.
Same with like Brady Christensen, Tariq Cohen. I forgot he was even on there. Justin Houston. I definitely forgot he was there.
DJ
Chandler
Chark.
Zavala. DJ Chark. I don't see him anywhere, so he's good to go.
Yeah. Because last time we played, we didn't play DJ last time. But yeah, he hasn't really been used.
It's not like that matter.
He hasn't really been used since he came back. I think he's like fourth on the team in receptions, maybe third. I think Hayden Hurst and Adam Thielen had more receptions than him.
Well, okay. So DJ Chark is fourth on the team. Yeah. The three people that are above him are obviously Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, and then Chuba Hubbard in the back.
And y'all said we didn't know how to use weapons. Whew, man. But yeah, so I don't really see him making a big improvement, especially when you're going.
Okay, I want you to guess how many catches DJ Chark has on the season.
20-some.
It is 25.
Yeah, I know that. And he's been playing since week.
He's played in 7 games.
Oh yeah. So he's had the opportunity. Most definitely had the opportunity. You know, rainy game tomorrow, windy too, terrible offensive line, and we might get David Onyemata and Nate Landman back. I don't really see how this is going to improve for them, because the only thing that's really been working for them is the run game, but they seem to go away from it when it starts to work. It's like, okay, they'll get 5 yards here, 7 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, 7 yards, and then they'll be like, okay, let's play action pass, and then pass the ball 3 straight times, and then let's 3 and out. Like, what are y'all doing? But then again, it is the Panthers, so you can't really put anything past them. Let's see. Well, now that I know that information, and now that I know we have 6 very, very important players questionable for tomorrow, I'm pretty sure 4 of them are going to play. And those 4 are Chris, Jake, Nate, Jeff, 5, and David. Well, no, because
Jeff is not listed as anything. He had a full practice yesterday, so
Jeff's good.
Last time this was updated. And then Calais Campbell's just been resting.
So. Oh, okay. But yeah. So I wanted to ask you that. Speaking of Jeff, so Clark Phillips, our guy, 4th round pick, who me and Noah told you guys that he was probably going to be one of the biggest steals in the draft. And he has proved that over the last 2 games, allowing 0 receptions, allowing a passer rating of, I think, 39.8, and has made a lot of big-time plays and a lot of big-time tackles. So as you know, the last 2 games that Jeff Okudah played, he was absolutely burnt toast. Now, of course, most of those plays were just him being in the right position, but not either turning his head around or the right receiver like Chris Olave just straight up head tapping him. But like I said, I'm not gonna put 2 bad games in and just say the guy's terrible. He's had a bad season. He's been playing like a top 10 cornerback too since he was cleared that Lions game. And I know that Clark made a lot of plays. Almost had 2 interceptions last game, one in that last drive, and then no, it was just 1 interception, one he had that last drive. But he had Chris Godwin on locks. That like just straight up like in a car seatbelt on, and then you put the car seatbelt over that. Tackling wasn't really a problem for him. Had a pretty good tackling, but for you though, and for y'all in the comments, do you think Jeff should start tomorrow? Do you ride with a hot hand and stick with Clark?
I think Clark needs that development, and I don't think that this type of game is going to matter either way. You know, like despite what we're saying, you know, just because look, we want to like find different things to talk about, which is why we're going through these things, and which is why, like, hey, we're kind of like the last stream of the week before the big game. I know we have the regulators, and that normally gets a big pull, but that's like just before the games are slated to go. Um, as far as like what we can talk about on the Saturday before, it's not a deep list because like we had like what 15 streams or something on the amongst these channels that all talked about either Tampa Bay and just previewing this game alongside of us. We want to have something different, right? So this is what we've been doing. If you haven't tuned in to our streams specifically for the last couple of weeks, we generally like to talk about, like, all right, well, who's slated to go, who's playing, and that helps us have those conversations about like, all right, well, who's going to be more important here, or what matchups can we look at, what are things that we like. Sometimes we couldn't do it because either we had too many people on the opponent side where we had no idea what they would do. Consider like the last 3 games with the new quarterbacks, like it didn't matter like who else we could talk about. It didn't matter about the other stats. It didn't matter about all these other things because you couldn't go off of the previous information. Now we can, because it's not like the Panthers have all these important pieces that they're just missing. That's why they can't perform well in the same way as the Cardinals, Like they have the quarterback, they have the running back, they have the receivers, they have their tight end, the kind of tight end that like try and tremble and things like that.
I don't know about
They have look like their list, like Laviska Chenault, like
they
that's like the only person they're missing there. As few other people on the offensive line, I'll give you that. But as far as, like Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, like leaving their team for the rest of the season, like they don't have that issue. Like they're not waiting for someone in the works like the Jets are. That's like, oh man, we're going to bring them back and we're going to save this team. By the way, kind of makes you feel a little bit better about our result against the Jets, given the fact that they dropped 30 on the Texans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And held them to 6 points, too. No touchdowns.
Now, I get that, like,
Nico Collins.
Yeah, he had some issues of his own, but he got hurt later in that game.
Yeah.
That wasn't like first quarter mishap like Jaron Hall did for the Vikings,
Yeah. And Tank Dell was out too, but we all knew that was gonna happen because he was the last game before. So, but yeah, dang, I don't know, because to be honest, CJ Stroud kind of was the savior to that team right now. I mean, you're always gonna have that one rookie. Yeah, you're always gonna have that one between 1 or 3 rookies that just like pop off from game one. Sometimes it's quarterback, sometimes it's corners, wide receivers, offensive linemen. This time it ended up being the Texans franchise quarterback. But yeah, I'm not here to talk about the Texans. But yeah, should be a fun game tomorrow. Speaking
especially
of
for a run game.
Yeah. If Brian Burns is out and Gross Matos, we probably need to run more at the edges because Shaq Tonto was kind of like that sideline to sideline guy. He's out. The other linebacker is out there was backing up dang, what's 49's name? I never remember how to pronounce his name.
Is it Frankie Louvu?
Yeah, Frankie Louvu. Yeah. I don't know what I was about to say. But yeah, Frankie Louvu. Now, Frank is a problem though. He
wasn't a problem for Bijan week 1.
Oh, no. I still never understood how a dude Bijan's size moves so sudden, so quick. It's kind of weird because he can like go from full speed to like he's literally the definition of 60 to 0 and 0 to 60. Like it's just like, how do you tackle that? 1-on-1, of course.
Yeah, it's always special when you have that, because it's always good to have that burst coming off the line, when you're receiving the handoff or like receiving a toss play or something like that. But when you have to then suddenly stop and then have to burst again, like after you've already tried to go full speed, like there's not a whole lot of backs that can do that.
There's not a lot of people that can do that. Some
Yeah, there's
rappers
not like a lot of human beings that are capable of doing that, let alone running backs in the NFL.
and especially the ones that are his size. He's freaking 5'11 and a half, 220. It's not like the guys, the smaller of the bunch, like Darren Sproles or Kenneth Gainwell or some of those guys like that. Like dudes, but as tall as
I mean,
everyone.
he's about the size as like what, like Shady McCoy?
No, Shady was 5'9". He was just Shady was like a bigger 5'9". No, he was like Tyler Rodgers. Because Tyler Rodgers is like 5'9" and a half, 5'10", but he's like 225, 230.
Dang, if he's bigger, man, what does that make me? I'm like 5'10", 240. Like,
Yeah, Shady was kind of like that. He was like 5.
and glad that you brought that up again, because if we have Jake Matthews back, then we can start running back to the left. Or if we have, that confidence in Storm Norton as we continue to run with the right, going back to Chris Lindstrom, then we can just start using those outside zones because that's our bread and butter. Like we don't really run to the inside as much. And that's kind of weird because, like, when you think about our rushing lanes, directly behind Chris Lindstrom has been like our lowest productive thing. And I don't think that he's a bad run blocker by any means. No, he's awesome. That's why he's got like the best graded run blocking status and just being a guard in general. But I just don't think we do enough because we're so special at outside zone. Like people knew this last year. And like we're still like around the top. What are we? Yeah, we're still the 6th ranked offense in terms of total rushing yards.
132 yards per game, rushing yards per game.
And what's crazy is that I came to the realization that we have allowed 5 rushing touchdowns in the entire season, which is second best in the NFL, by the way. And I think all of them are to quarterbacks.
Let me see. Josh Dobbs, Jared Goff, Baker. Yeah, you're right. They're all against quarterbacks. Every single one. Every single one.
I've
Josh
never
Dobbs.
seen a stat like that. I think he got in twice, unfortunately.
Yeah. Josh Dobbs got in twice. Baker Mayfield got in once. Jared Goff got in once. Why do I feel like I'm missing a quarterback that? Oh, no. Kyler Murray. That's right. Kyler Murray.
I had a feeling he scored.
Yeah. So it was Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Josh Dobbs, Kyler Murray. I still feel like I'm missing one. Because we haven't allowed a touchdown to a running back all season, so it's not a running back. I mean, they don't count pop passes as running plays anyway. Because
those are passing touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a passing.
Quote,
I was
unquote.
going to say Dontavian and Wicks had one, but they don't count that.
CJ Stroud didn't have one. Well, Levis didn't have one.
No. Either that or Josh Dobbs had to score twice.
Let me check.
Wait. Did James Conner score on this?
I'm gonna check the Cardinals game right now. Yeah. Clayton Tune. He scored in the Cardinals
game. The QB sneak that they went up.
Yeah, it was Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune.
Yeah, when they went up like 20, they went up 22-17.
Now Jordan Love had 3 passing touchdowns and then proceeded to give them like 10 yards in the 4th quarter. I'm still not going to let that go because that is just hilarious, especially now that they're playing good.
And 3 drives too. Three drives, and you picked up one first down over. No, you didn't even pick up a first down because every single one of
No.
them, every single one, and your longest drive was 9 yards. And that came on the one where you had a false start.
Here's another question. What do you guys believe should be the standard of this team, let alone organizations?
Um,
I before we say anything, I want you to guess what we would think what we would say. Because that seems like a very loaded question. And I want you to see if you can guess our opinion of that. Because you're not asking that for no reason. So while we wait for that, yeah, if they're giving up 130 rushing yards again, then we shouldn't have issues with the ball Sunday. Use all 3 running backs and we should be good. Now, we did say that about the Jets game. And you saw how that score played out.
1 touchdown. 2 field goals.
It was a beauty, though. I will say that.
Yeah, that was a great pass.
So I do want to ask this question though, because we've tried to guess this before, and last time I said this, I was almost too spot on. But what do you think is the minimum amount of points that we need to score for this game? Because I think that might tie into this question somehow. How's it going, Mad Mike? Glad you can join us.
What's going on, Mike? It's been so long, Mike. It's been well for me and you. I don't know about you and Noah, but
no, it's been about as long.
Yeah, me too. But school's been crazy, so haven't really had the time to join the heavy hitters and Monday shows and Friday shows. But
yeah,
hey,
and like I said, we have 15 different shows.
Yeah.
By the way, since you're here, has there been anybody that we should be promoting? Because I know that you had that advertisement for that, and I do want to give them a shout out if anyone took that opportunity. Because we are a part of the show. We do have the answer from Dave. He said that he thinks that we would say that we want this team to be tough-minded and have the ability to overcome coaching sometimes. Do you disagree with that, Trey?
No. I mean, well,
it's the second half of that gets me.
Yeah, that's the overcoming coaching sometimes. Now, do players sometimes make plays off schedules, even on bad play calls? Yes, it happens literally every game. Not in our games, but literally happens in every single NFL game. But having to overcome coaching is basically like saying what Mike and everyone said during 2020 and really 2018 to 2020 when we were going with Dan Quinn and people were saying we were just going to have to overcome the coaching and the players are going to have to step up. It's kind of hard to overcome bad coaching. Like, it's not even it's very hard to overcome bad coaching because if you're not in the right spot or they didn't put you at the right position, it's like, well, how am I supposed to, be good? I mean, because look at it. Dan Quinn tried making AJ Terrell a cover 3 corner. AJ Terrell is not a cover 3. He's really never been a cover 3 corner. He's always been a press man, bump and run, cover 2 under type guy. And we seen how he got burnt consistently during 2020. As soon as Dean Pease comes in there and we have our man system and we're going 2 high man and cover 1 and all of this, he turns into a top 10 corner. So,
I mean, I glossed over the fact about because that was the year in which he played 16 games because he wasn't there for the Giants game. He played in 16 games out of 17 possible and allowed 200 yards of coverage on 29 catches the entire season. All right, I just want everyone to remember that, because while he didn't have like this gauntlet of receivers that like 2009 Darrelle Revis did, for example, Darrelle Revis was still thrown to way more often. I think he had like 112 times where the quarterbacks threw his way. And yeah, I get it. He's facing number one receivers and some of like 8 of the top 10 at the year, and then held them all to like 35 yards per game or whatever, or like 35 yards total. That is ridiculous stat. But in totality for that season, out of his 16 games, he still let up 500 yards in coverage. AJ Terrell cleared him by 300 yards.
And saying that as a corner?
That is a Julio Jones game against Bené Benwickery. Another Falcons Panthers reference.
I remember that game. That was such a great game.
Dude, babe, I have been the first to tell you that Coach Shanahan is full of flaws. Dude, I've been ragging on the 49ers because I'm here in California, and that's all who I'm surrounded with are 49ers fans that think that he's just like this perfect like demigod of a coach. And I'm like, dude, this is the guy that used 3 first-round picks on not Jordan Love, but Trey Lance. And that alone should have gotten him fired. Because he got 0 significant playing time and just almost ruined his future. And nobody cares because they got Brock Purdy.
And the thing is, he's the same coach that since 2019 blew a 10-point lead in 8 minutes in the Super Bowl. You're up 20-10. You blew a 10-point lead in the final 8 minutes. You got steamrolled in the playoffs the next year. Well, not really steamrolled, but you blew it in the playoffs the next year. And
you also blew another 10-point lead in the conference or in the championship game against LA.
Yep, yes, the Rams. When all you had to do was just run the ball, try to play the game in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands, and you got killed. Now, last year, I can't really blame you for last year because you were using Christian McCaffrey for a quarterback. So I can't really say you blew that because your quarterback was injured in the first half, in the first quarter. So I can't really blame you for that. But yeah, I understand that what separates the 49ers and the Eagles and the Ravens and the Chiefs, and can I really say the Lions? No, I'm not going to say the Lions because they haven't been doing this for a while. What other team has been doing this for a little while? Did you
say Ravens?
Yeah, I said Ravens. It seems like every team this year, especially in the AFC, is like a new playoff team. Texans, Jaguars, what other team? Can't see the picture.
Jaguars were there last year.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Jaguars. But what separates them from teams like the Texans and the Falcons and what other young, inconsistent team is there that can be greatly good? I guess you could say the Vikings. I'm not even gonna.
Kevin O'Connell's been doing okay. I mean, he just played earlier today.
Yeah. They lost 27-24. But yeah,
now
the thing
because of the freaking quarterback sneaks that they keep trying to do, and then like I was hearing it at work, and they're like, "Dude, why do you have like your smallest running back behind him in order to push him towards the pile?" Like, dude, maybe get CJ Ham, maybe get a tight end back there. I don't know, someone that isn't like the smallest back. Like,
shoot, get both.
That's the guy that was back there was 5'8", 185. And you expect him to push the quarterback there when everyone is on, like when everything is on the line? This is your borderline playoff game.
I think they just got knocked
Like,
out the playoffs. If we, because I think if we
no,
win,
I mean they had the 6th seed before that game, and they're still like 7-7 now.
oh yeah, so we have
So
to win, and the Rams would have to win. So they probably go, but then again, we did lose, so they have that tiebreaker on us. But um, I don't expect us to not be in first place after tomorrow. But yeah, what separates us from them is one, mostly I wouldn't say the players in general, because we have a pretty talented roster. It's the experience that those guys have, and especially like the playoff experience that those guys have. Most of those guys are 6, 7 year players, or at least 26, 27, 28 years old. So they've kind of been through this. Like I said, that 49ers roster, 50% of that roster has been to the Super Bowl. The Ravens roster has been to the playoffs multiple years. The Chiefs have been to 3 straight Super Bowls. No, 3 Super Bowls. Used to be 2 straight before the Bengals game happened, but 5 straight conference championships, so they know how to win. The thing that separates us from them is that we don't really know how to win yet. We have, like I said, like Noah said, we have literally the oldest player on our offense is Matt Collins and Jonnu Smith. And the only real person that has real playoff experience is Jonnu Smith, because he had significant minutes with the Titans back in that 2019.
Cordell Patterson.
Oh yeah, and Cordell Patterson. He went to a Super Bowl too. But other than that, you have a second-year quarterback, a second-year wide receiver, second-year running back, rookie running back, and a third-year tight end that missed half a year. So he's really in his just now finishing off his
second and a half year.
Second and a half. He's really just finishing off that second year right now. So
the only other person is Van Jefferson.
Oh yeah,
Scotty Miller.
Both of those guys Super Bowl champions. But then again, both of those guys weren't the biggest. Van Jefferson literally left at halftime to go take care of his pregnant wife because they were having childbirth at the time. So it's not like he was there.
Speaking of which, congratulations to Kyle Pitts too on his child.
Congratulations!
Kyle Pitts Jr.
The baby celebration he did last week, telling the football to I like that. That was a pretty nice celebration. But yeah, that's really what separates us, is that those teams know how to win games. They know how to win important games. We're still trying to figure out how to win games and win important games. The Bucs game that literally just happened 6 days ago. So yeah, it's that's what's separate. Now, are we going to get there, or are we on a good path to get there? Very much. Very much. I feel like we have the head coach. It's just he has to get his play calling in order. Calling these Bijan Robinson bubble screens when teams know what we're going to do every time he shifts out is getting kind of annoying. It's getting kind of annoying. I love Arthur Smith to death. We can tell that the guys play hard for him, or else we wouldn't be in or win half these games that we've won. So we know that the players love him and that they're going to play hard for him and that he's going to have them ready. He just has to get the play calling part, and we have to limit these turnovers. So, and plus the defense has to get a clutch factor. There's no way the defense has been on the field 5 games where they could have ended the game, and 4 of those times they were scored on. I think the only game where they finished out a game was the Packers game when they closed that out. They closed out the Saints game, but we were already up 2 scores, so it really didn't matter what they did right there.
The other Tampa game.
Oh yeah, the Tampa game. Well, no. They got. They could have ended it, but they still scored. It was still.
No. The other Tampa game. We were tied at 13.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They drove down the field, but I guess you could count that because of the David Onyemata thing. So they didn't really score a touchdown. But the Bucs game,
because the Richard Grant interception.
Yeah,
that was with 3-something minutes left to go.
Yeah, I think it was 340 left. But
I kind of remember that too.
Yeah, but
most of that Jets game.
Oh yeah, the Jets game. They were magnificent that game, but the Vikings game, the Cardinals game, the Bucks game, the Tennessee game.
It was almost the Texans game too.
Almost the Texans game if Desmond Ridder and Drake London didn't have that, and Kyle Pitts didn't have that connection. It's just that like I said, we're still trying to figure out how to win games. And I know that sounds kind of annoying because we have so much talent on this team that we really should be contending for the number 1 seed right now instead of dilly-dallying with older, sloppy, terrible veterans. But winning takes time. And I think we all know that. The Chiefs didn't all of a sudden go from sucky to no. The Chiefs didn't all of a sudden go from, okay, we're going to, be sucky until now we're at the Super Bowl. It took time to get there. They literally had to wait, 40 years to win another Super Bowl? And, we see how that happened. So, yeah, winning takes time. Being able to get your players to win takes time and get them acclimated to it. They just have to keep winning. And to be honest, that could start tomorrow. I mean, we haven't had a dominating, like an actual 20-point dominating win since the Raiders game. Yeah, the Raiders game back in 2020. So,
speaking of the Raiders game,
yeah. Hey, Mike, please highlight that. Please highlight that comment right there. Mike just said it all. Mike just said it all right there. And I want you to answer this truthfully. If you had to think about every team in the NFL and you put the talent that we have on not just on our defense or offense, but just in general in this team, could you say we're like a top 12 talented, like the most talented team in the NFL? We'd be like top 12, top 15, right?
I think it's important to have a balance and have like a great player at pretty much every level of your team, right? So the verdict is always going to be out on the quarterback position. So let's just wait around that for a second. Do we have a great running back? Check. Do we have a great fullback? Check. Do we have a great wide receiver 1? At least. Check. Do we have a great tight end? Check. Multiple checks, depending on which one. Do we have a great offensive line? Check. Do we have good defensive linemen? Check. Because remember, we're without Grady Jarrett right now.
And David.
So, yeah, if we include him, yeah, we have a great defensive line. Because people just weren't able to score like they would in the past. Do we have great linebackers? I would like to say that Nate Landman has been
like top 10 linebacker all year. Him and Caden Ellis.
He's definitely surprised us, right? And even if you want to talk about like outside linebackers, they're a part of that too. Cool. Do we have great corners? Check. Do we have great safeties? We have the best safety in the league. Do we have great kickers? We have one of the best kickers in the league, despite what the last game said. We're pretty well-rounded. And we have solid depth everywhere else underneath that to carry us through. So if that doesn't say like we're in the upper half and the upper echelon of like great rosters, then everyone else above us is like an absolute super team. Because I'm not buying that. And I can see there's a lot of other talent in every team, right? Every team has to have some good talent. So the whole point of the draft and the whole point of free agency is like, hey, always constantly upgrading and getting new talent. Does it work for every team? Of course not. But has it worked for us?
Yeah.
I'll let you be the judge of that.
50-50.
But are we using the right formula? Absolutely.
Also speaking of that.
I mean, another case before I'll let you go. Take a look at Buffalo real quick. I think we have the same record, don't we? We're both 6-7.
Yep. Wait, no. Never mind. They're 7-6 because they just beat the Chiefs, so they're 7-6.
But they were 6-6 with us before the week started.
It's a 1 game split, so it's not like they're just 10 times better than us. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, but like, speaking of the draft,
I'm,
I
I'm
hate
gonna mention one more team. Sorry about that.
you're straight.
Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Like, where's their talent? And yet they still win.
mm.
So just
And they
because you're
be
talented doesn't mean you're ready to win. Just because you don't have talent, it doesn't mean you can't win either. And this is why we can't take this Panthers game lightly.
I want people to remember, and before I go to the Terry final thing, but I want people to remember the Bengals team that went to the Super Bowl. Okay, that team had the worst. They were top 5 worst offensive lines in the NFL that year. They might be top 10 all time worst. And then with injuries, it didn't really help either. Their secondary consisted of Eli Apple, Cam Sutton, and a no-name corner, and then Jesse Bates and Von Bell. So they didn't have the best secondary. And to be honest, Von Bell and Jesse Bates were the reason that secondary was even relevant most of the time. Their linebackers were iffy until they drafted Logan Wilson. After Logan Wilson is a pretty good linebacker, and their D line was growing. But in that division, they were probably like the third most talented team because I would probably put the Steelers. I would most definitely put the Ravens over them, and the Steelers were partially a more talented team than them, just not the wide receiver core at the time. And they're still gonna have a better wide receiver core, but you get what I'm saying. They weren't the most talented team. But what they did have was the fight, the grit, and the trust in each other to go out there and play every week. Go, what was it, 10-7 that year or 11-6? Go into Kansas City, go into Tennessee, and handle business. Now, of course, they didn't finish the job, but what I'm saying is they weren't the most talented team. We are one of the most talented teams in the league. We just don't have it all the way figured out because players are still figuring this out. If you've heard what players are saying, if you heard what coaches are saying, they are still trying to figure out how to win games because almost every single player that we have hasn't even been to the playoffs yet. Drake, Kyle Pitts, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry, Drew Dahlman, Bergeron, Desmond Ritter, Tyler Algier, Drake London have never even touched a field after January 6th. Well, 7th this year because our last game was on January 7th, regular season game. So they haven't touched a field in a playoff environment after January 7th. Richie Grant, AJ Terrell, Jeff Okuda, Nate Landman, D. Alford, Clark Phillips. Who else?
Younghoe Koo.
Younghoe Koo. Have never touched a field during the playoffs. If you get what I'm trying to say, all of these guys are still trying to figure out how are we going to close out games like the Bucks or like the Vikings or like the Cardinals. So, ooh, boy, I hate food. Always coming back to bite me. But yeah, always trying to figure out how to win. Always trying to, get better at it. But like I said, I feel like we're on the right track. I mean, of course, you've seen how the offense responded back in that fourth quarter. Drake London having one of the most beautiful catches. But he reminded me of Julio Jones so much that catch. Oh my God. It was like because if you're looking at it in real time, it was like it looked like it was going straight to Antonio Winfield. And Drake, all you see is a 6'4" with a number 5 jersey, cut it inside, jump about 3 feet in the air and just snag it. And if he didn't trip up on the way down, he probably would have house caught it. It was a beautiful ball, even though it was a little inaccurate. What a lot of Julio Jones catches were Matt Ryan just giving him a chance. It didn't even matter if it was a beautiful ball or not. It was just him giving him a chance. And that's really all you need to do with wide receivers like him. He's 6'5" for a reason. He's the tallest player on the field. Give him a chance. We've already seen he's the best contested catcher in the NFL, or at least top 5. There's not a lot of balls he's not going to come down with when it's 50-50. Unless they literally just knock it out at the perfect time and take the perfect angle. But, yeah. So, if we can figure out
and I want to go ahead.
Oh, I said, but last thing, but we can figure out how to win and get to the playoffs. That starts tomorrow in a windy, rainy Charlotte game. But say what you're gonna say, Noah.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna respond to this because Dave says the way the Falcons play screams 17-10 games either way. As a longtime fan, I don't want to live that way because it's not sustainable. What score is sustainable? Are you talking like putting up 40 burgers every single week? Because we tried to do that. That wasn't sustainable either.
Trying to outscore teams,
30
literally.
burgers.
I mean, look at that was literally 2016 and 7. Really not. That was really 2008 to 2022. Just trying to outscore teams. We didn't have a defense, so we're just going to try to put 30 up every game, and we see how that worked.
Yeah, I mean, there was that back-to-back game back in 2018 in which we put up like all these points, like 37, 38 points. Didn't help us win. I'm like, I don't know what this means because if a 17-10 victory doesn't satisfy you as a fan,
I don't know what will. I mean, a win is a win at the end of the day. I don't care if we win 3-0 like the Vikings just did. A win is a win.
Because, back to what we were talking about, like the whole title of the stream was like, hey, this is a cheap ticketed price game. Does that mean that this isn't going to count as a win? Is this like a half win on the record? Like, does this win not count enough because we didn't score because we're going off of like college rules or something? I don't know what this is. Because it's not the margin of victory, it's the victory itself.
You know how many games Matt Ryan has put up 30 to 40 points and still lost? I want y'all to remember 2 games. Just 2 games. Because he's had a lot more. But I want y'all to remember 2 games. 2018, we're facing the Saints. Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley had over 150 yards together. Matt Ryan threw for over 400 yards that game, had 4 touchdowns, and we put up 37 points. We lost the game 43 to 30. No interception, no turnovers that entire game, and we had 2 drives to where we went 3 and out. We lost that game 43 to 37. Second game, Chargers game. 2016. Matt Ryan, once again, has a 350-yard passing game. No interceptions, 3 touchdowns. We lost the game 33 to 30 in overtime.
I'll also make you remember another game too, because I remember a game against the Cardinals a while back where Matt Ryan had 5 interceptions in that game, didn't score once, and we still won. So make sense of that.
Now,
and he wants us to meet him in the middle, coming from a person that wants to have a low score.
Hey, if we're gonna meet somewhere in the middle,
I don't even know where you stand anymore.
Dave, look, I appreciate you, and I know you're a pretty smart guy because you're in here, if not every live we have, at least every other live. So I respect you and I respect your opinions. But if we're gonna meet in the middle, we're gonna say it's 17 to 10, and we're gonna take that margin of victory because I don't care. I don't care. Like I said, a win is a win. How many times have we seen so much excitement in a game, and the only thing we had to go back on that game was the excitement? We can't say, we had the excitement and the win. The Super Bowl, guys, was literally one of the most exciting games in my life. It was on my birthday. I went upstairs when it was 28 to 3 to go play Pokemon. That was one of watching that entire first 3 quarters was just exciting. It was beautiful. I'm seeing pick sixes, touchdowns, Devontae Freeman making people look silly, Matt Ryan juking defensive linemen out, passing to Julio Jones. Julio Jones had one of the best Super Bowl catches in NFL history. But the only thing we have to go back on is excitement. We can't go back and say we have a ring because we can't go back and say we had a defense.
I also remember this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. He played defense as well in the NFL. His name was Charles Woodson.
Oh,
I remember after his career, he started talking about like, oh, hey, if you have the defense, and if you're a defensive guy, like I imagine Charles Woodson being, he says 24 points should be the standard to win a game. And yet, I feel like for, outside of a couple weird outliers, we've been scoring like 24, 25 points.
We've lost 3 games this
We've
year,
like, like here's our let me take a look. Here's our team scored. All right. So the most points we've scored this season was the 28 points in a loss. But other than that, we had 25 against the Packers. We had 25 against Tampa Bay just now. We had 24 in week 1 against the Carolina Panthers team we're going up against tomorrow. We had 24 points against New Orleans, a team that couldn't even get in the end zone even if it wanted to. And we scored 23 in Tennessee. We scored 23 in Arizona. Like, we're hitting the mark 21 against Houston. All right, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of how many games we played? What is it, like 13?
Yeah.
Despite everything, we put up enough points to win. That should be meeting in the middle. If anything, what would really satisfy you was seeing like a 24-10 victory, which is exactly what happened week 1.
And we didn't even put those 14 points up until the fourth quarter. All 14 of those last points came.
Right. He doesn't care about when the points happen, right? Because this is coming from Dave again. A win is a win. I don't think that way. I want more, and I will never apologize for that line of thinking. In other words, after the Falcons win 6-3, is there anything to talk about?
Yep. How did AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates, David Onyemata, Caden Ellis, and Jeff Okudah do? That's what we're going to talk about. Exactly what we're going to talk about. What did we talk about after the Jets game? We said how suffocating the defense was, how bad our offensive line was, how there was no time, how it was a sloppy game. Look, if tomorrow
injuries and stuff too.
Injuries, yeah.
In the field.
If tomorrow is like what the Jets game was, knock on wood, minus the injuries, pray to God, please, Lord, have mercy, no more injuries. I will take it. If we win this game tomorrow, 17-7, and all 17 of our points came in the first half, I will take it. Now, of course, we're gonna have the people crying on Twitter, and of course, we're gonna have the people crying and on in the Instagram comments after the game saying, "Oh, we still need to fire Arthur Smith because 17 points is unacceptable with the talent." Yes, I understand. We have too much talent out to be putting up 20, 30 points a game. But what you people don't understand is we don't have the say in everything we want to do. There still is 11 other guys that get paid millions of dollars. That is their livelihood. That if they are getting consistently cooked, they aren't going to be on the NFL roster for long. Hence, Josh Norman. Hence, thousands of other players that have been cooked and then just run away with the money they have. Okay? So, yes, I know it's frustrating and I know it's boring and it may be unstable to win a game 17, try to win a game 17-10 every week. It may be. But if it's been proven that even us putting up 25, 23, 25, 23, 28 points and 5 of our losses wasn't enough, what is sustainable? What's a sustainable win? What's a sustainable way to try to win? Because at this point, what's the Chiefs' sustainable way to try to win a game? Oh, we're just going to let Patrick Mahomes throw sidearms and passes, throw for 300 yards, score 2 touchdowns with Travis because we win the game 27-20. I don't think that's how they're thinking. I really don't.
By the way, since you brought them up, I just went to Kansas City. The amount of times in which Kansas City has scored more than 20 points this season have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, look, 7 times. They've put up 20 points or more. Now, I stopped at 21 for us because that was the Texans game, right? Other than that, we dropped down to 16. So if we just go under 21, that's 6 games. That's less games in which Kansas City has put up 21 plus points this season. They also have low scoring games too.
They aren't even top 10 in scoring offense.
Remember that 17-9 game against Jacksonville in week 2?
Or the 19-9 game they had against the Denver, their first time playing Denver.
Yeah, 19-8. Whew. I don't know about you, but even to them, does that look sustainable?
I mean, it ain't been sustainable the last 3 weeks because they're on a 2-game losing streak. I mean, they literally, guys. Okay, let's look at the Chiefs in the last from now into the last 3 years. The Chiefs were averaging 28.9, 28, basically 28, 29 points per game over the last 3 years. That's because you had Travis, Tyreek, all these, how to use all your number 3 and number 4 type of guys. Now you don't have that anymore. You got Travis still, but people are just going to double Travis. But now they don't have that Tyreek Hill. They have Marquez Valdez drops, Kadarius offsides, and who's their number 24? I keep forgetting his name.
Oh, Sky Moore.
Sky Moore.
I was there for Rasheed Rice too.
Oh yeah, and Rasheed Rice. Rasheed Rice is actually been pretty good this year, but they don't have that number 1 anymore. And you're starting to see it's kind of falling apart because guys are dropping passes. No one's on the same page. Guys are lining up off sides on game-winning plays, and everything's just falling apart. So, I mean, well, them trying to score 30 points isn't sustainable because now they can barely even score 20. Literally one more game, they've only put up 20 points.
And here's the other thing too, right? Is that what's interesting in this sentence that Big Ant just said is the word can't. See, even when I look back at some of these scores, I remember the story of what happened in that game that caused us to have that score, right? Remember, we looked at the 16-13 game, and I was like, dude, there was way more points on the board for us than we had. So is it that we can't score 30, or is it just that we haven't? Because last game, I said that I put it on the record that, hey, I think this team can put up 40 points. So let's take a look at what happened in this game in which we scored 25 in. We had 2 missed field goals. If we added that to the tally, that would have been 31 points right there. Didn't we have another touchdown that we could have had?
Yeah.
I mean, if you put that on there, I'm not trying to say that we deserve to have that kind of touchdown, but it's dude, hypothetical, right? Did you not, or is it that you can't? Right? I think the wording is different there because, yeah, technically we've never put up 30 points in a game this entire season, but it's not like we couldn't. It's not like we don't have the ability to. It's certainly that we don't try.
Oh yeah. We've had 4 games where we could have put up 30. Maybe 5. Just turnovers, miscue, shooting ourselves in the foot, and the defense just making a play.
And then when you think about what those other points that we added on to that, what that would have done to the game script, what that would have done to future play calls after those points have been scored, right? It could have changed the entire landscape. Do more points opportunities happen afterwards? We don't know. I can't assume all the time, so I can't hear. But we just described 13 points. That would have put us up at 38. And why does it matter? I don't know. You tell me. Because I'm not the one that's complaining. I feel good that we won 13-8 against the Jets. You know why? because it went again. It counted as a win for us, and that's what we really need right now if we want to consider ourselves the top of this division. Again,
I
we
think
don't go by college rules by like how we win or how badly we beat an opponent or like what's their top 25 ranked or whatever. Like it's not how we go. We go for like, hey, did you win? All right, cool. Let's move on. And if there's nothing else to talk about in between that one, it's a pretty boring conversation that you'd have. I mean, I don't think that we're doing that because otherwise 19 people wouldn't be here to talk about it with us. So
from what I just seen in one of the comments, I think David is out tomorrow.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I would,
yeah,
like,
never mind. Yeah, he's out. Fuck, we ruled him
okay.
out earlier. Lakel London is off of IR.
What
though.
I'm looking at then, it didn't adjust for me.
Yeah. You look at, what is it, ESPN?
Pro Football Reference, which they go off of
Okay.
like the practice record, and it's as updated December 13th, which is just a couple days too late.
But yeah, so Lakel London is coming back. He is playing tomorrow. I'm hating all these injuries, and I really hate it because MetLife did this to us, and I hate them for that. Man, oh man. Because if you think about it, the week before that, we were probably the most healthiest team in the NFC South. The only really significant player we were missing was David Onyemata. I mean, not David, but Grady Jerry. Everybody else is there. David was there. Calais, Bud, everybody. Nate. And then as soon as we go to MetLife Stadium, we lose Landman, we lose David, we lose Mac again, we lose AJ for that game. We lost AJ, nearly lost him. Who else did we lose that game? Lost Jeff, lost Jake. No, lost Drew, lost Caleb.
Did you say Layman?
Yeah, I said Nate.
Okay.
But yeah. All I want to say is curse MetLife Stadium, and I hope it just disappears one day. Just make a new stadium at this point.
I think that's why it's behaving that way, is because too many people said that, and now it's like actually working. Anyways, how's it going, Jamers? Glad you could tune in. And yeah, the team has faced 5 playoff teams this year, not counting the teams on the bubble and the Colts.
Let's see what those 5. Okay, so we got the Packers, Lions, Jaguars, Vikings. What was the other one? Oh, Bucks.
Texans?
I guess. Oh yeah, Texans. Yeah, Texans. And I guess you can say Bucks.
That shouldn't be for long though.
Yeah. No. It'll end tomorrow. They got. What time is it? What time will it be in 12 hours? 9 a.m. So they have 17 hours left. Really 18 hours. They have 18 hours left of being in first place. Because they're not beating the Packers tomorrow. I'd put money on that. They're not beating the Packers tomorrow.
Speaking of the Packers and their opponent, they had the Giants, and I was going with Tommy DeVito, huh?
Yeah, but
slinging them cutlets around, winning them games, making me feel like I can trust them. I don't know what this accent is. I'm sorry, people. Yeah, this. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you guys give your score prediction, and I'm mostly looking for Dave. I want his sustainable score. Because me and Trey, we've been streaming since 2021. It's about to be 2024. I have never heard the term sustainable score. So
Oh, they didn't score with
I
sustainable.
hope that he gives us an answer that can satisfy us, like as those that are waiting for it.
Man, oh man.
So as we wait for that, and I want to get everyone else's, I'm like Dre here.
Hmm.
Appreciate it.
I'll take that. I'll take that one, dog.
Yeah, good 13-9.
One more than the Jets. They just didn't get the safety, just off field goals. I hope. I hope that's what you mean. Like, I hope you don't mean like they score a touchdown and then get a safety. Because I would hate for us to have 3 straight games where we had a safety. That would just be. It's got to be like a record or something, right? 3 straight games and you've committed a safety.
I really hope that that's not like the obscure thing that we talk about that's going to come true in the morning.
Please. And
in the meantime, what I want to do is I don't really do this, but I want to try because Anthony White's bringing this up, and we can now actually go to like fan bases that have just recently experienced this. I actually want to look at like Vikings content within this past week and be like, what did they talk about during that 3-0 game? Was it just a complaint rant? Or, like, was there any kind of like thing that they can positively take away? I imagine now they can be like, oh, cool. I think our defense is actually like sneakily very good considering what happened in the previous game. But I
mean, it was until today.
I do want to look that up afterwards. I'm very curious to see like what was being said in between those days.
I got to. I just got to. I have to.
So I'm hoping that Dave is still here around so that we can see his sustainable score prediction. And I think while we wait for that, I think you guys know what time it is. And don't worry, I'm going to get the music on before we even pull it up. We'll just get that a little bit lower. All right. Let's bring this up. What's that? Bring this up. Found another one with Carolina here. All right. So you won the last time. I'll say your call as to who goes first.
I'll let you go first again. Gonna let you go.
All right. Before we kick this off, I do want to mention this. And I saw this to my coworker earlier today too. Like, you put Kyler Murray on that team from weeks 1 through whatever, like 1 through 8 or something. They're not a 1-win team.
Now that they played like a 1-win team the weeks before that, other than the Cowboys, yes they did, because they had Josh Dobbs and Clayton Tune starting at quarterback. With Kyler Murray at quarterback, they're not really a 1-win team. They're like a above 500, maybe 500 on the dot team. Now, of course,
even then, like, could you really blame them with the division and the schedule that they have?
Yeah. I mean, look, like Seahawks, 49ers.
Like, this is why we, treat the Panthers in the same way, because they can't really complain about a weak schedule in comparison to everyone else that's around them.
They have the 3rd easiest schedule in the league. Can't really do much more complaining than that.
Oh.
The hardest team they played this year was the Texans.
And that was the one they won. Like,
other than that,
go figure.
You're playing 3 inconsistent teams in your division. You've played the Bears, Vikings, Seahawks. Did they play it? Let me just go look at their schedule right quick.
I think I have it pulled up faster. They have faced Seattle. They have faced Minnesota, and then Detroit, and then Miami. Then Houston, Indianapolis, which we'll get them later. We'll get Chicago later too. They did face Dallas.
Oh,
they also faced Tennessee as well. And then that's pretty much it outside of the division.
Oh, so maybe their schedule hasn't been that easy.
A few outsiders, you know.
Okay, I can see why they're 1-12 now. I can see. They've literally played playoff contenders the entire season.
But then there's like the Titans game.
Oh yeah, the Titans game they could have won. They definitely could have won that easily. Bucks game they could have won that easily.
Yeah.
Saints game they were just their offense committed too many.
That was one that's like, yeah, they've scored 6 points the last time we've seen them out on the field as an offense in entirety. Not saying that we haven't been there ourselves, because we certainly have, but it's like at this late in the season, like it feels like a dead team.
That too, but then again, we went against the Lions and Jaguars when we did that. Y'all went against the Saints. That's
and it was pretty easy for us to score against them.
We threw 2 turnovers and still put up 17 points.
By the way, I hope I haven't lost Dave, because he's been sticking around, but I haven't seen his sustainable score yet. Oh well. All right, let's get with this. Let's go ahead and let everyone see this, what we got going on here. All right, I want to go first. Let's take a look. Ooh, I always want to start in the middle, but sometimes that's just too much like on the spot thinking for me. If I try to think about like everything else around it as a whole, then I'll be like, oh, okay, I might have an idea here and there, and then I might just go with that idea. Like, yeah, strategically, of course, it's always like best to get yourself centered, but sometimes you just can't think of something right away, and you don't want to spend like forever, you know, waiting for that. So and you know, with us going for obscurity, this is why it's important for us to like, oh, yeah, there's obvious answers here. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to go with that right away. So let's see. I mean, my last freaking my last week's first guess was Tyler Shelvin. Like,
wasn't that like 0.2% or something like that?
Yeah, it was
pretty
like,
low.
Nobody thinks of that. But that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what Trey's trying to do as well. And I might be stalling for time, and I hope that's not what Dave's doing. It's like, oh, well, maybe if they're just like on closing out the stream and they're already thinking about this. I'm like, no, I'm still paying attention to the comments as I do this. Because if not, then I'll never understand like what he meant by a sustainable score.
Maybe he means like winning a lot of games consistently, either comfortably or like they make it a 1-score game because like a late field goal or something. Maybe I hope that's what he means.
Or is it like a margin of victory? maybe that's what he's hung up about. Like, maybe it's not so much the low number because he said he likes the low numbers, but it's the fact that either we have an equally low number too, and that's not enough for him,
I
or
mean,
what. But I want some clearance, and I didn't really see that with him. So because I want to meet him in the middle, however that's possible. But he's got to have to guide us because ever since then he was been reluctant to give us an answer as to what score he did. He gave us what score he didn't want, which was 6-3. So
yeah, Jamarius likes the music, though.
I mean, it's lo-fi. It's meant to be enjoyable. Which I was trying to listen to more lo-fi recently too. That's like the one music community that like generally isn't toxic. Like, you ever go into a lo-fi stream and there's like all these people having conversations from all across the world? No, just me. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on with this.
Yeah.
Man, I have so many players in mind, but I don't know where they decide to fit in. I hope the obvious guess isn't too high of a percentage for me to like not go with it. I think I'm gonna go with I just had to remember his name. Wait, is it, or did they actually go by? Okay, they don't go by that. So let me go. Philly Brown.
Wow.
You remember who I'm talking about, right? Like the
Line back?
no, he was a wide receiver that was a part of Cam Newton's 2015 run.
Oh,
They called him Philly Brown, but I think his real name was Corey.
Yeah.
But he never actually played for Philly. Gosh darn it!
Oh,
I kept thinking of his nickname.
He might have
been born in there or something.
Yeah, that was probably where he was probably born there. Because I know what you're talking about.
Come on, man. We don't say Philly Ryan with Matt Ryan. We don't say Philly Pitts with Kyle Pitts. We never said Philly Zacchaeus with Olamide or whatever.
Philly Jonu.
Come on, man.
I don't remember what you're talking about because I remember he had that one mishap score when Julio had that 300-yard game and he had kind of kept the game close. I remember that. I forgot he even existed. You just reminded me of that. I forgot he even existed. But I'm gonna go for.
Maybe I got the name wrong because they
called him Philly Brown. They called him Philly Brown. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know if that was either his name or if that's just a nickname.
Well, that's why I had to look it up. I had to make sure. It's like I think it was Corey, but I just had to make sure that they didn't go by Philly in the actual like official thing.
Okay, so I have one for the 5,000 yards and Eagles one. Julio Jones. He just joined too, so I don't even think.
Player must have played at least one game with that team in their career. Julio's definitely done that. Just wanted to 6%.
I knew that was gonna work because he just got on the Eagles and people don't really pay attention to him anymore. I've never seen a player go from top 2 to wash so fast, man. I feel so bad for Julio. But
Well, I I don't know. I've never seen a dude that had the hairstyle of like dreads and then like had short hair for like the longest time, and then the second he broke out of Atlanta, he's got this whole freaking wide receiver route tree on his head. Like
yeah,
I don't know what this is.
it's a Florida thing. Now, if is he from Florida, I don't know, but
He's from Foley, Alabama.
oh, then yeah, I have no idea where that came from. Maybe it's because he went to the Bucks, so he's like, try something new. Because remember
Yeah,
when
but
he
that
had
means he had to have grown this out in Tennessee too.
no, he grew this out in Atlanta. Remember them last 20 when he was bald, and then he cut him off. He regrew him. It was like 2018, 2019. He had dreads.
Yeah, he definitely had like shredder dread. They just didn't like stick out as long. Under his helmet.
Short. Yeah, they were short. Well, not short, but they weren't as long to where it kind of like goes at your helmet. But yeah, he's been growing.
Dave, where are you?
I don't think he's coming back. He might have left. I don't know.
Give me a sustainable score. All right. Well, I'm without a guess moving forward. I'm surprised that's fairly high of a percentage, though, for that, all things considered. Okay, speaking of percentages, I have to fill this up. I wanted to go with Miles Sanders. 61%. Now that's Trey's points. See, that's exactly what I don't want to have.
I was going to go for Miles Sanders right there, too. That is crazy. I was going to go for Miles Sanders.
It's like, yeah, that he was like the only. I kept thinking of like linebackers, and I kept thinking of like safeties. I feel like one safety now would have worked now that I think about it. But
I mean, I can't go for him anymore. So you can tell me now.
I gotta confirm it in my head real quick. But anyways, it's your turn now. Let's go ahead and make this the shortest freaking thing there.
I'm going for the win today. Is this record time? This might be record time.
Well, you gotta get the score first.
True. Let's see. Oh, Mike Bell. Running. I mean, not running back. Well, yeah, he was a running back.
Assuming this one? I think that was around the time period, right?
Yes. Yep.
I don't think you're thinking of a guy in the 80s. Yeah, wow.
Thank God my cousin talked about this man when we were younger. You reminded me about him. How does the this clean sweep?
This game started and ended quicker than Dave's point. Like,
wow. I mean, we could finish this out. We can fill out.
Yeah, I mean, we got an empty slot though. It's gonna be unfortunate.
Broncos. Well, did Doug Ball on that one?
I'm gonna think of. He did, but
is he that thought of though? Because DK Metcalf has over 5,000 career receiving yards, I think, or he's like very close to it.
I don't
Tyler
know
Lockett.
what I want to say here.
That Tyler Lockett is going to be more. Because if you think about it, I mean, or Jerry Rice. Didn't Jerry Rice play for the Seahawks?
Was it like a preseason thing though?
Still, well, was it?
I know what you're talking about because I've definitely seen him in the jersey.
Yeah. I mean, we could try it.
I'm gonna go someone else.
A game or two.
Deion Branch. Yeah, Deion Branch. All right, cool.
Okay.
1%. Man, I wish I would have gone with that guess earlier.
Seahawk,
But I gave myself an extra guess.
Seahawk, Panther. I was gonna go for the Cowboy Bronco one, but I don't know anyone who's played for either one.
I mean, the most obvious one is DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah. But do people remember or no? Because that was like early, well, not early, like late 2000s.
Well, he just got inducted in the Hall of Fame, didn't he?
Oh, he did?
Yeah, like if not, he was like his first year eligible or something.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Never mind. Other than him, I don't know nobody that's played for both. I can't think either. And these two teams don't even really often.
I'm trying to think of like running backs.
So, yeah. Did Philip Lindsay play for the Cowboys? Or at least get signed there?
He was a Colt.
Yeah. Colt.
Signing's not going to be enough to count it in here, as I've noticed with freaking Shane Ray. But
Colt, Panther, Bronco. Now there's obvious ones right here. You have Michael Irvin, Dez Bryant,
Miles Austin.
I mean, out of them three, which one do you think is thought of less? Oh, Greg Olsen, man, Jet, you are so smart. Greg Olsen did play for the wait. Oh yeah, he played for the Seahawks and the Panthers. He played for the Seahawks that COVID season.
$68?
Wow.
Jeez, that can't be the only person that's crossed that way that many times.
You got it
Why
too.
is he that high of a guess?
Maybe because
Randy Gregory. 23%. Not bad.
That is wow, that is low. I didn't think that was going to be that low.
Well, I mean, you got to think like 70-something% has to be DeMarcus Ware there.
Oh yeah.
So,
I mean, I kind of. You want to go? Yeah. I mean, between Dez Bryant, Michael Irvin, and Miles Austin, which one do you think is thought of less?
Brandon Cooks.
Oh yeah, new one.
7?
Wow.
He just got there. 7?
You thought that would have been more.
Mafi said Russell Wilson. I'm gonna do you one better, and I'm gonna say
that's gonna be the most obvious one, though.
Myself with Noah Fant.
Yeah.
The person that was a part of that trade. As for Panthers, Cowboys, I had a name in mind. And I'm gonna look it up before I say it, just to confirm. That wouldn't have worked. I was thinking of Dan Morgan, the longtime linebacker for the Panthers. I thought that he had like 1 year or something in Dallas.
Mafi, I will give you your credit for the Greg Olsen one. I didn't even see that one up there.
Yeah. And I don't know, Dave. Come back in the comment section afterwards. We have a life outside of this. I can't be waiting forever. I did notice that there was a grid here for the Falcons recently. Do you want to fill this one out before we kick? Just this right here?
Falcons first round draft pick. Tech McKinley.
I was thinking Pariah Jerry.
Hey, they're both bust. Does it really matter? I think either one is probably going to be.
No one wants to guess Pariah Jerry. Point one. Yeah, nobody wants to guess Pariah Jerry.
Texan, Falcon.
We've had this one a couple of times.
Yeah. Tevin Coleman.
I think in the past I've said Dante Robinson, and I've said I think Akeem Dent.
I
did say Akeem Dent before.
Was any of our corners
definitely
for the Texans?
I mean, there's Matt Schaub.
Oh yeah. That'd be the obvious one, though, probably.
I guess so, because he did spend a lot of time over there.
Vic Beasley went to the Texans.
No, he was thinking of first round draft picks.
I was about to say, wow, because I remember he went to the Raiders, I think, and they couldn't do anything with him, so he just went ghost.
Then he was like last found on Earth in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, Tennessee, yeah. He went to Tennessee. Oh yeah, T.J. Yates, good one, Jet.
Was he here as a player though? Because he's definitely here as a coach. I think Jeez, I had to scroll. TJ Yates, 3%.
Falcon 49er, that should be kind of easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman.
I mean, there's like the easiest one in Dion, but.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably last. I just want to. I want to go for like low percentage. I just got to see how many people just put Dion right there, just to like see how much he
just have fun with it.
I just want to see. I'm saying
68. Yeah.
yeah. I knew it. There was.
Why does he not have a picture? Like that bothers me.
Put some respect on Dion's name.
All right. Well,
before we head out,
we're giving Dave every single reason to like show back in here for something else. Is everyone else done with their score predictions? I don't know. Trey, what was your score prediction for this one?
Muddy, rainy, windy, cold. They might even postpone our game for an hour just because it's 100% chance of blowing hot rain.
Yeah.
I could put Alex back right there for the 49er one. So I think we've already been through this before. The Panthers haven't went through a rain. Well, no, they did go through a rain game with the Buccaneers, but it wasn't as bad as ours because the Buccaneers field is 10 times better than MetLife. But I'm going to say 23 to 10. No, 23 to 6. 23 to 6.
I was about to say that was almost like our last game. But does that sound sustainable though?
Maybe. We can win every game 23 to 6, we go to the Super Bowl.
Them's is the rules, you know.
We don't make the rules, man.
You know what? I'm gonna say 17 to 10.
Now, if we actually win the game like that, I might just cash up you $10. If we actually win the game by that score, I will cash up you $10. Deal?
I'm gonna post it the next time we have a stream. because we do have a stream tomorrow. That way, in case you guys want to check, if you do like music, if you like video games in the past, we're gonna go through every kind of like video game that has music in it, and we're gonna rate the best song found in a video game in general. We're on that path with the style of a tournament bracket that's found on my channel. So I have the stream link for tomorrow's session. Trey, you're good to go.
Yep.
All right, all things considered, because we didn't do it last week because we had some emergency. Something with the family. Nothing bad, but just couldn't make it. So I had to postpone it to tomorrow. And despite whatever happens after the game, we're gonna have our stream, and we're just gonna go through our selection of sounds within the ATV Off-Road Fury series, which, if you're not familiar with, is a fantastic game series. Racing, dirt bikes, all that kind of stuff. Well, ATVs mostly. So yeah, soundtracks were always fantastic in those games, and we're gonna talk about them then. So if you guys want to join it, make sure you hit up my channel where you can find this at. I know at least one of you guys are there, so if you guys want to tune in, and that'd be really appreciative, because I want to try to, grow out some more ideas and stuff. And as you'll get to see the channel hopefully grow, my beard will eventually grow too. So be on the lookout for that in the future. Trey, any last thing to say?
Let's go hunt for a cat.
Yeah, we had a broom that we couldn't use before, so
let's use this one.
The season, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, you take care. Let's enjoy this victory.
Let's do it.